Okay. It's so nice that we have our students here, very interested. So, so I welcome you all. I will leave the floor to our Dean, Rasim Hocam. So it's a big honor that we will be doing this AGU İCMA series. This is the first series, and I would like to thank to Elif and Rıdvan for their great preparations and motivation to lead the AGU İCMA student chapter. So, and I would like to thank to our beloved guests, Rasmussen, Rebecca, and Berna. So I leave the floor first to Rasim Hocam, and then the Zoom will follow on. Zoom is yours, Rasim Hocam.
Thank you very much. It's an honor for us to be with you, and we are very excited to be in a very global family. And today, it's our first activity, and your support is very precious for us, Mr. Rasmus and Berna Hanım and Rebecca. And we will do good jobs with you. I believe this. And thank you very much again for participating in this meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rasim Hocam. And Elif, I would love to give the floor to you to run the next of the program. Here you go.
Hocam, first of all, Rıdvan, floor is Rıdvan, and after then I will talk about it.
And hello everyone, you all are welcome to our panel. My name is Rıdvan. I am actually Elif and me are the co-chairmen of Abdullah University ICMA student chapters. This is the first session of our panel. It's called AGU ICMA series. Probably most of our guests do not know about ICMA, but I'm sure that this will bright. Yes. So today we will talk about the ICMA student chapters, and also we'll talk about what is it like to work in a non-governmental organization like ICMA. And we have very special work speakers. I will introduce them very shortly. Mrs. Rebecca is the program manager for activity and career advancement in ICMA. Also, Mrs. Öztekin, she is also program manager in ICMA, and she has a big role for our registration into ICMA. And Mr. İb Öztegard Rasmussen, he's city manager, and he's our mentor also, and he is advisor to the board in ICMA. And I would like to thank you to all our speakers for not refusing our offer and joining our panel today. You all honored us. And let me talk about a little bit the program flow. Our every speakers will have 15 minutes, and then after that we will have a Q&A section. And so please do not forget to note your questions. Yes, I don't want to spend our time. Thank you again, and I'm giving the floor to Elif.
First of all, hello again, and we also appreciate to accept our invitation to attend this, our first panel, our first AGU İCMA series panel, and we prepared some questions to our guests. And first of all, we want to start with Rebecca. First, I can ask the question, and after then, we are waiting for the answer. Our question is like that. Would you like to explain what is International City County Management Association, and what are the student chapters? Thank you.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much. It is such an honor to be here this morning with you all. We are so excited to welcome this new chapter to the ICMA family. You join a long list of chapters. We have currently 123 chapters worldwide. So you join a long list of chapters, and we're so excited to have you all. And I'm excited to talk to you all today a little bit about ICMA and the Student Chapter Program. So I am going to share the PowerPoint. Let me make sure that works. Can you see the PowerPoint? Okay, fantastic. All right. Okay, so I'll start off talking a little bit about what is ICMA. So ICMA, the International City County Management Association, our goal is to create and support thriving communities. We are the professional association for local government leaders in the US and abroad as well. And our vision is, to be the leading association dedicated to creating and supporting these thriving communities throughout the world. We have 12,000 members who are both in the US and abroad, and they work in local government as professionals, and they practice local government in order to improve the lives of citizens, of residents in their communities. ICMA does a couple things: membership, professional development. We'll talk a little bit about these things a little bit more on the next slide. But we're really, we support those who are in city management, town management, county management, village management, all of those categories, as well as myself and Berna here are talking today as staff of ICMA. We work to make sure that all of the programming is happening and supporting our members in the really important work that they do every day. So ICMA's core activities, advocacy is our first big activity that we do. We advocate for local government management. We specifically focus on professional management. So those are people who go into management professionally and have training to be a good manager of a local government entity. So we advocate on their behalf, and we say to the world, professional management is very important. We have our annual conference every year, which we're going to talk a little bit about more on the student side, but our annual conference is a really exciting event that we hold every year, a chance for everyone to come together, to learn together, to network together. It's really a very exciting event. This past year we had it virtually. It was the Unite conference. We're looking forward to hopefully being able to be in person again soon, but it really is our biggest event of the year. Ethics is a huge part of what ICMA is about as well. Our code of ethics is something that all of our members sign on to when they become a member of ICMA, and they agree that ethics, being an ethical manager, is an important part of the profession and an important part of their daily lives as well. So ethics is a really, really important part of what we do, and something that we help students to understand as well while they're still in school, to understand the importance of being an ethical manager, an ethical leader during their career. Research, of course, is very important as well, researching the newest things that are going on in the profession. Berna also knows a lot about the research that goes on at ICMA, but we're always trying to support our members by coming up with research reports and white papers and things to support our members to help them be better in their role. And then publications as well, publishing. We have, of course, publications that are, more like articles, and we have our PM magazine, a magazine that comes out every month with information about the profession. But we also have textbooks and things like that to help educate you all, those who are going to be joining the profession shortly. Professional development is another big one. We'll talk a little bit more about this when we get into student chapters, because we really do help our students focus on professional development, as well as, of course, our members who are looking for professional development, as well as credentialing and different things to help them be better at their jobs, which is what we all want. And then, of course, our global programs, which Berna will get into a little bit more. So let me jump into talking about our student chapter program, which you all have become a part of, and we're so excited to welcome you to our chapter program. So the goal of our program is to introduce and integrate students into the local government management profession, and really familiarize you all with not only the members of ICMA, but local government managers in your community, as well as managers across the world, to help you all in your career, to do programming currently while you're in your program, and establish those connections, which really is what's most important about our chapters, is helping you all and establish those connections. So the content and the programming, as you all have sort of already learned a little bit about, it's, you know, partnership with ICMA and you all as the chapter in the university. And we strive for programming that engages and excites you all as students, and gets you interested in the profession, as well as supports you in your career aspirations going forward. Your chapter created your agreement. You signed on to be a part of ICMA, and we're so excited to support you going forward as a chapter, as well as have you all take advantage of all of the things that come with being a chapter. And like I said, we have 123 chapters right now worldwide. 20 of those are international chapters, and you are our newest, which is really exciting. So what do chapters do? This is always a big question that I get. What's a student chapter? What do they do? What's the deal here? So our student chapters do a lot of different things. They create a chapter, a chapter charter and bylaws. They, you know, sort of establish some general structure to help you all function as a chapter. And this sort of is a little bit of a parallel to what local governments do as well, in terms of creating a, you know, local governments have a charter and bylaws and things like that. So sort of a bit of a structure. And this can really be whatever any chapter wants it to be. It's your opportunity to create a structure that works for you all. Our chapters establish a board. You all have already started that process by creating some leadership that are going to be the ones to move you forward and to support the chapter. Some chapters find it's really helpful to do a strategic plan as well, to think about not only what you want to do as a chapter this year, but what you want to do as a chapter in a couple of years. So that can be really helpful for our newest chapters as well. So chapters build a relationship with your mentor, and as well as those in the community who could support you as well. The mentor is a really important role. They are your connection to the profession. They are the person who can support you in terms of connecting you with ICMA, but also connecting you with career resources, or there's someone to speak on a panel like today. So the mentor really serves as a really, really important role. And I hope you all will really, you know, create a great relationship and be able to support each other. So our chapters work to find members, of course. You want to be recruiting members into your chapter to expand your membership, as well as get more students interested in local government as a profession. We encourage you all to think about not only students in your program, but in other programs that would potentially be made up of students who are interested in local government. Because of course, at the end of the day, a chapter is made up of students, and we want to make sure that you all are able to bring students into your chapter. Another thing that our chapters do is they reach out to their program and chapter alumni. A lot of our chapters have found a lot of success by working with folks who have graduated from the university already and are working in, you know, maybe a local government management role or a nonprofit role or any type of management role, and be able to engage them and by bringing them into panels or maybe other types of speaking events. But a lot of our chapters find it really helpful to be working with alumni of their program. A lot of our chapters work with their state or regional associations, you know, and certainly on the international stage, that leaves a lot of opportunity as well to be working with the International Committee of ICMA, to be working with other associations that we have throughout the world. So there's a lot of opportunity to work with associations and professionals in the profession already. And then, of course, partnering with other chapters as well. We encourage all of our chapters to not only, you know, just be programming with themselves, but be programming with other chapters. We do have a sister chapter program that matches chapters together to be doing joint programming, or just to be working together and thinking about how they can be better chapters. So definitely we encourage everyone to let us know they want to be a sister chapter, and we match you up. And of course, the big thing that chapters do, planning events and programs like you all have done today. You have planned your first program, which is super exciting, and you have a series going on, which is just fantastic. So this is, of course, what is the core of what chapters do is planning programs and events. And at the end of the year, submitting your annual report, telling us all of the wonderful things that you have done this year. It's our chance to celebrate you all. We publish all of our annual reports to all of our 12,000 members of ICMA and let them know the fantastic work that you've done this year. So let's dive in a little bit more about what it is, what types of events do chapters plan. So this year, of course, has been a really different year in terms of the types of events that chapters have planned in our virtual world. But a lot of chapters have taken this as a great opportunity to do different types of programming that they wouldn't have done before. So of course, a big one that our chapters do is panels like we have today. Panels are very popular with our chapters, and it's also a great way to bring in speakers to talk about the career and the career path and career support. Lunch and learns are kind of similar in that way, of course, virtually. Case challenges is one that a lot of chapters have taken advantage of by coming up with a case study and having the chapter work together to create a report or to do sort of a mock council or different things like that, an opportunity to sort of do some role play and really experience what it's like to be a manager. A lot of our chapters, now not so much in the COVID world currently, but a lot of our chapters before COVID were doing tours. They were either going to government buildings to do tours, they were going on site visits to learn about different parts of local government management. And now actually virtually a couple of chapters have figured out ways to do that where they have a little video camera and someone's walking around and everyone's watching. So there's certainly ways to do that as well. Another big one I'll point out is just the career skills workshops. A lot of our chapters have found great success in having career related sessions where they can get together with folks who are experienced in helping other people get into the profession and work with them on things like resumes, interviewing and things like that. So lots of opportunity, lots of things that chapters do, and you all are in a great place to be able to start exploring a lot of these. So as I said, I wanted to talk a little bit about the annual conference, which is a super exciting event that we have every year in the fall. It is the largest gathering of local government professionals in the world. As I said, this past year was the Unite conference, which was fully virtual, great opportunity for folks around the world to take advantage of the programming. And I know I speak for ICMA in general that we know going forward that even if we switch back to doing our in-person, there will definitely be lots of virtual components to make sure that everyone can take advantage of the programming. But what's really key here is that as a student chapter now, all of your members can go to the conference for free, which is a really big deal because it really, it's important to us. It's important to ICMA that our students have, lots of ways to take advantage of what's going on and have easy access to those things. So we make registration for conference free for our student chapter members so that you all can take advantage of everything going on. And this past year we did, we actually had our student content track for the first time, where we had sessions that were specifically targeted towards students, and we'll be having that going forward. So lots to take advantage of, and I hope so much that we'll be able to welcome you all to a conference in person sooner rather than later. All right, so that is what I've got for you all. Like I said, it is so exciting to be here, so exciting to be able to talk with you all and welcome you all as our newest chapter. I do have my email address up there, so if you want to reach out, if you have questions after today, happy to work with you all. And my job really is to support you all as a student chapter. I support all of our chapters, so I am here to support you. I am here to be your resource to ICMA. So anything that you all need, that's what I'm here for. And I will turn it back over to our moderator.
Okay, thank you so much for all of the information. The informations are so important for us. Thank you. And also we are so happy to welcome you. And now, yes. And now our question will go to the Mr. Rasmussen. First of all, thank you so much to be here with us. And first of all, I just want to ask the question. Why did you decide to support student chapter? And also, as a we are a part of our student chapters, like as the AGU, Abdullah University. And what difference does a strong student chapter make? And also, we will appreciate if you would introduce yourself to us firstly. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much for your questions. I was happy to have them in advance to prepare myself for today. I have prepared some slides for you to just to introduce you to myself and to Danish local government. And then I will, of course, return to your questions and you'll have my answers to these very important questions. So in a minute, I'll try to share the screen to make it work. And then I will go through my slides and then we can have a discussion on the issues. I'm very happy to be here. I'm also happy to see Berna and Rebecca, old friends from the ICMA. It's really nice. I really want to thank you for organizing this session today. It's very valuable that it is possible to meet this way. When we have the COVID-19, we cannot see each other physically, so we have to do it this way, and you succeed very good. So I'm happy to say that. About my name, you can use my first name. You do not need to address me Mr. Rasmussen. You can just call me Ib. It's a tall man. I'm nearly 2 meters tall, and my name is only 2 letters. A tall man with a short name. And the I and the B, it's the first and the last letter in the Danish name Jacob. But my name is not Jacob, but it comes from Jacob. So you can just call me Ib. You're welcome to do that, all of you. Let's see if I can share my screen. Let's have a look. Can you see this one?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay. So I've been a member of the International Committee at the ICMA for nearly 7 years. I enjoy very much to work with the ICMA, and I want to stress that it's a very competent and sober organization. And as far as I remember it, the oldest organization worldwide taking care of city management. And whatever you read about the high level of ethics and the good work they do, I can tell you that I have seen this in practice for the past 7 years, which I'm really happy about. All Danish city managers are collective members of the ICMA. So from Scandinavia, from Denmark, we're very much connected to the ICMA, and we enjoy it very much. I'm also happy to assist for the first time in my work life, to assist with the AGU student chapter. We'll return to this. Through my working career, I have held different positions. I've been a director of education for 6 years, and you can see on my slides. I've been an expert to the Republic of Estonia. I lived and worked in Estonia for nearly 2 years for the Danish foreign government. And it was in the period where Estonia were applying for membership of the European Union. So I was sent there to connect people and to give education and to teach them how to work with European programs. I speak Estonian, my wife is Estonian, and I still very often travel to Estonia because I have not only the professional connection to Estonia, I have also my kids and my wife, half Estonian. I've been a director of innovation and city managers for several years, and at the moment I am the head advisor to the board of directors in our municipality. When we talk about Danish local government, Denmark is just a very small country compared to Turkey. We have a population of only 5.5 million inhabitants. We have very decentralized way of running our democracy and our local government. And we have more than 50% of all the spendings in public sector in Denmark is made by local government. We are in Denmark responsible for healthcare, social services, nursery homes, unemployment, education, schools, infrastructures, and environment, and everything. Danish municipal government is very important, and they are running most of the jobs when we do talk about services for our local citizens. Why did I decide to support your student chapter? Well, I have really been reflecting on these very good questions. The first one is a very personal motivation. Actually, I asked myself the question, why did you agree to, work with this program? Throughout my childhood, I was raised with the belief that if you can be supportive and contribute, you have to do it. My grandfather, he was in many ways a very supportive peasant in Denmark, and he fought for the rights of the poor Danish peasants in 1800. My own dad, he was fighting the German occupation, and he went to concentration camp in Germany and survived. And he always taught me and my 3 brothers and sisters that we always should work and contribute when people ask for help. We should be there for them. So this is a very personal drive. When somebody asks me, can you assist with the AGU student chapter? Of course I can. If somebody say, can you travel and live in Estonia and work with local democracy to build up Estonian democracy and assist them? Of course I can. I left my country and lived there. So it's in my family, this understanding of being supportive and contribute when people ask you. Then I believe very much in local democracy. Have you ever thought about that when we have elections in Denmark and in Turkey and in the US, wherever you have a local election, democracy is working, people are elected to be members of city council. They come in, like we say in Danish, we say they come in from the street with no education in local government. They sit down in the city hall and they take very important decisions. If we want this local democracy to work, we need civil servants who are very competent. If the civil servants are not brilliant in their work, if they are not ambitious with themselves, if they do not work hard, there will be no local democracy. It will be another kind of democracy where you could call it a democracy, but it isn't. It will be the heavy power of dictatorships or people who are elected for personal reasons, who wants to have power locally. So you have to work for the local citizens, those who are electing people to be member of city council. You have to serve them, and you have to be their guarantee that everything inside the administration in the town hall is trustworthy. So you can believe in what they say, and you can understand as a resident or citizen locally that they do their best and they serve me, not the politicians. They are my servants. Local democracy is about serving the local people, those who can do the election progress. This is very important, and I can tell you that in Denmark, when we have these international surveys about corruption, Denmark is always on the top as a #1 non-corrupt country. We have very good scores. There's a reason for that. We have had a kingdom with a king or a queen for 800 years. 500, 400 years ago, our king and his best friends were corrupt, and his best friends were the civil servants. So when you served the king and did his business best, you would have gifts like gold or land or castles, and you will have benefits. And we had like a revolution, because suddenly we had a king who said, we have to stop this. We cannot have all these friends doing services for friends. They are so corruptive. So we had a king who decided that now the new servants should be the children of the people. So everybody was sent away, and we changed our whole system. And every Danish civil servant knows that you serve the citizens, you serve the people of your country, locally and nationally. You do not serve the emperor or the king, you serve the people. It's so deep in our genes that we are brought up in our education being civil servants that we know that we are not corruption, we are non-corruptive, and we want to be respected locally, and we serve the people. And I believe very much in this kind of democracy, and that's another reason for assisting you with the chapter. I think it's brilliant that young talent people like you students do educate yourselves to be civil servants. This is fantastic. And you will be the ones to secure that we will have a democracy locally in the future. I'm an older generation, so my job will be to contribute and support you in this way of understanding local democracy. That's why I am eager to work with this program and the student chapter if I can contribute. Then I have experienced that I'm quite a good communicator, so I'm willing to communicate and share my knowledge and my experience in public management. I've been in that for many, many years. And then I can offer to connect beyond the borders. It is so good to have connections to other countries and universities. For example, throughout Europe, we do have very active city managers associations in Romania, in Holland, in Denmark, Norway, Sweden, etc. I can connect to these people because they are part of my own network. And having turbulent times globally, even in Europe, it's very good that you can connect beyond borders to hear about how things are done different ways, other places in the world. You asked also, do a strong student chapter make a difference? Yes, absolutely, it will. Could you imagine that you just do your studies to become a civil servant all on your own? Sitting at home, reading your books and try to understand the role and the ethics. It's much easier when you work with a student chapter because then you can communicate with other students, not even students in your own district or university, but also students who are working in other parts of the world. If you participate with the annual meeting at the ICMA, it's a chance to connect to students who are educating themselves different places in the world. So I think that the student chapter is very important, and it is a good chance to form somehow a common understanding of how to be a good civil servant and to work with the ethics standards and to understand local democracy, which I stressed before for you that understanding of local democracy is essential to be a good civil servant. You have to know why are you there and who are you serving. Yeah, in Denmark, I'll just return shortly to that. We have a tradition for a very high level of trust in local democracy. We do such surveys and we communicate with our residents about their trust in local democracy. And you know, if they trust us, if they trust the police force, the politicians, the civil servants, if they do trust us, they will be much more happy about their life. And we do see that when we have these surveys, who are the happiest people in the world, we also ranked one or number two together with Finland. We are on a very high level of citizens who are happy about their own life. And it is not about material goods or good income or whatever. It's about trust, to believe and be trustful to local democracy and to national democracy is very essential. And we do, it turns out that we have in Denmark a very high level. Ethics matters for civil servants, and I know you have worked with the ethics. I saw your report for this year that you have been discussing the ethics standards that was presented to you from the ICMA. This is very good. And it's an ongoing process to work with ethics and understand ethics. So I think now and then you should return to them and set them for discussion and common understanding. It is needed that you have a high level of ethics when you finally leave your studies and start working, serving local citizens. It will give you respect, especially if you are in the management. It's essential that not only the local citizens are trustful to you, but also that your staff trust you as a manager. It will be very good for you, and the standards are very fine and to work with. And there are ways to do it, and we can return to that later. City managers in Romania have been working quite a lot with the code of ethics and how to implement them. And there are some methods we can discuss, not today, but when we have another possibility to meet. I think that will be until now all from me, and I'm ready for a discussion and questions when we come to that. Thank you.
First of all, thank you so much for your all support and your time. And also you have helped us with many things that could benefit our student chapter, which is very important to us. And we will do our best to make our student chapter successful. And also about the code of ethics, we also read about the ethics before, and that leads us so much. And thank you so much for seeing you here. And now I want to continue with Berna Hanım. And these are my questions for her. How does it feel to work for a non-governmental organization like ICMA? Would you share your experience with us? And also, could you share information about the employment opportunities here? Thank you.
Sorry, yes. Thank you very much, Elif. And you can just call me Berna. So like for all of you, as Ib, like I am, as Ib said, it's okay to be informal. I'm very happy to be here. And I'm very excited that AGU is first student chapter of ICMA in Turkey. And, it's amazing to see all the students here. And thank you, Rebecca, for your support. And Ib, I kind of convinced them, to join for them to support AGU. So I'm in the background, but happy to support you in any way possible. I have a little presentation. Sorry, let me share my screen. But again, this is going to be more like informal discussion. So I'm happy to answer all any questions. So I can start with I don't know how much you're familiar, but let me start the presentation. Sorry, this cursor is not helping. You can see my presentation, right?
Yes.
So yeah, I have been with ICMA more than 7 years. Now it feels like long when I mention it, but it didn't feel like. I have been with different departments, and I had a good experience, and we call it more like ICMA family here. But my kind of background is I graduated from sociology at Koç University in 2006. And then right away, I started a master's program in political science at Sabancı University. And then after I graduated there, I went to work in the civil society and then work in an NGO. So I worked in the Sabancı University for some EU program, and then I worked at the Sabancı Foundation. And I decided I want to work more in international development. And to do that, I was looking for some master's program, mostly in the US, to help me to start my journey. And in between, I worked again for like 3 years in Turkey. And then I came to US at the Carnegie Mellon University for the program in public policy and management. Again, the program was like unique and helped me a lot. It was like first year, it had classes in most like classes, like full-time classes at Pittsburgh. But for your second year, you're supposed to come to Washington, D.C., do your internship during the day and take evening courses. So that was, that was ideal for me again, because I want to gain more professional experience. And this is how I met with ICMA. School helped me. And ICMA has big global programs team, and then implement many developing programs in different parts of the world. So it was very attractive to me. And I did my internship there, and then I stayed. ICMA is a big organization, but before ICMA, I didn't know much about local government management here in the US and like overall globally actually. So I learned a lot about local government management, and in the US, different than Turkey, we have city managers, county managers, like in Denmark and many parts of Europe and other parts of the world. So that was very interesting to me, because the cities, counties, villages, they're being managed by professionals in addition to mayors. So, and ICMA supports this like professionals worldwide, because we believe that the city communities are thrive or manage better if they're managed with the professionals. And I know in Turkey we have similar structures like general secretaries at municipalities, but they don't have an association, and they may not stay as a like individual may not stay as a general secretary for his or her career. So, but city managers like Ib, they start in local government and they become a city manager or like different department heads, and then they stayed in local government for their whole career. So they know everything about local government management in their countries, and so this helped a lot to the professionals. This helps the communities to thrive. So I believed in ICMA mission again. Like it's very interesting to me, and for me, it's again ICMA is a nonprofit organization, and we are helping these professionals for their professional career. Also, like we are helping communities through these international development programs. I worked in global programs team, managed programs like funded programs, mostly funded by United States International Development Agency, but some programs funded by World Bank, or again United States State Department, and they're all implemented in different parts of the world. We had programs more than 70 countries worldwide. And then I also work in the research department. As Rebecca mentioned, research is very important for ICMA. We do research on anything related to local government management, again, to support all our members or local government professionals worldwide. And then for students as well. So this is how we have a lot of resources. Most of our resources currently focus on US practice, but we have international focused research as well. And again, we work with public agencies, universities, and stakeholders. Currently, I'm still with the global programs team, but mostly managing international affiliates relationship. It mentioned, we have affiliate relationship in more than 33 countries worldwide. We have, because there are associations like ICMA in different countries, and we develop affiliate relationships with them. And again, the association in Denmark, COMDER, is one of them. And this is how Ib is a like ICMA member, but also we have he's a member of COMDER, who's our affiliate. So we kind of like surround him in many different ways, but this is how we manage our relationships. And I am managing all the relationship with these affiliates. Again, they're very active, so we support them. We use our members and affiliates' expertise in local government management issues for our international development programs, or like, again, we also match our affiliates with one another. For instance, Ib went to Palestine. We have an affiliate in Palestine, Abdullah. He went there to provide the ethics training. So we supported that training. And again, we support that relationship between different affiliates as well. Also, we have a center in China, ICMA China Center in Beijing. It's part of a university there, actually, China University of Political Science and Law. And also we have ICMA Europe, as you mentioned, it's based in Slovakia. We have a managing director. It's a separate entity, but I support both China Center and ICMA Europe, the programs, activities there. And ICMA Europe has been very active, and due to historical and geographical connections, I feel like Turkey is closer to that. So some relationships can be established between ICMA Europe and ICMA Europe. Like every year has meetings, mostly with the focus on ICMA Europe and members' issues, affiliates issues in Europe. So those meetings happen every year. This year it will be virtual again, but you can join those meetings as well. They're free. Also, we, as ICMA, we started global engagement process because global engagement activity. So ICMA has been a global organization, but we now want to become a true global organization with more activities. So we started the process. Now we are kind of developing a strategic plan for that, and then I'm supporting that activity. So that will probably continue for some time, and hopefully there will be some changes with our activities overall. And this is what I explained actually, what ICMA has been doing and our mission. So what I like about it, if I go back to your question, Elif, is that ICMA helps local government professionals around the world to create thriving communities, and it's very fulfilling for me to support that mission and to be able to support members and affiliates who are doing this. They are the ones in the front line helping people living in cities, towns, villages, and support them. So we are supporting them. And through our international development programs, we are working with individual community cities around the world. We have a very big program in the Philippines now, and we are working with multiple smaller secondary cities to help them economic development. We have a professional fellows program. We are supporting young professionals like similar to your age in ASEAN countries, in Thailand, Myanmar, Indonesia, in all 11 countries. They're coming to US through that program, and we are kind of settling them in communities in the US. They stayed for 4 or 5 weeks, and they go to the municipal offices and learn about how local government works here in the US, and then when they go back to their organizations, they kind of share their experiences. So I supported that program, and then I believe it's very fulfilling for our mission to have that program, so our members engage with young professionals around the world, and also learning process is two ways. It's not only those ASEAN fellows are learning, but our members located here, they also learn about from their experience how they work, how the local government management is being done in those countries. So it's two way of learning. So that's a great feeling. That's part of why you actually stay in civil society, right? To help people, as you mentioned. It's similar to me that I like helping communities and people and doing that professionally. Again, this is, and the other good thing about me, I learned a lot, especially for the last couple of years, thanks to my travel. I visited different communities, different countries, and so again, local government management structure. Then I attended conferences. So that interaction, as Rebecca mentioned, our ICMA annual conferences is big. We generally have more than 3,000 to 5,000 people, members and affiliates coming worldwide, coming and joining. So the interaction with them is very interesting, because you learn a lot when you talk to a city manager in Denmark. Actually, they share their issues, and when you identify topics for panels, for conference sessions, and identify speakers, you learn about many different topics going on, like the COVID experience. If you just look at COVID experience in Europe is very different than the experience in the US, which is very different than the experience in South Africa or India. So you learn about all these different experiences and they're like more eye-opening. Then I try to make the connections and again help our members with that knowledge. So that helped me a lot too. In terms of kind of working opportunities, it's like for ICMA, it's mostly US based. So we have, I could have put the link actually, but I can share the link. So we have ICMA career website. Rebecca knows better about this. So we promote opportunities, vacancies at ICMA, but we also have a job center that any local government can kind of post their jobs, vacancies there, and ICMA members can see the available positions and apply through that. But again, most of those opportunities are US based. It's mostly due to our core membership is based in the US. Also, like for each country is different, especially for local government issues. You need to be familiar with the country structure if you want to work in a like city, how local government laws are there, the regulations, how it works. I mean, you can talk better about this. So, but sometimes we have opportunities. Most our opportunities we have vacancies. Sorry, at the global program seems like program manager. To manage internationally funded programs managed in. Implemented in different countries. We also again membership, which is Rebecca's team actually. They have opportunities again to most likely client relationship, like to support members in their needs. But again, they are mostly based in the US. But we also have great fellowships, local government fellowships. That's open. I believe it's in the US only for now. So students can apply to those fellowships, like graduate students, MPA, Master of Public Administration students can apply to those fellowships, and then they are put in communities, again, looking for fellows in the US, and then they spend 1 year there and again, get the professional experience. And then, they move on with their professional careers. But there's a big fellowship program that we support here. So yeah, this is all for me now. If you have more specific questions, I'm happy to answer them. I can stop sharing.
I think this is for, thank you, first of all, thank you so much for all of the information. And now it is Q&A session. And if someone have any question, just, I think Utku has.
Yes, I have a question. Can I ask? Firstly, thanks for everything, but my question is to Berna Hanım. What would you suggest to someone who wants to work for a non-governmental organization specifically?
In Turkey or?
Yes, in Turkey.
Yeah, because I have experience in both, right? So my suggestion is, also like Zeynep Tuğçe, we have a long history, and she has been very active in NGOs in Turkey, so she can support you in any way. But my suggestion is try to find the area that you're interested, like the activities, right? Because some of the NGOs are like philanthropies, like Sabancı Foundation. Sabancı Foundation mostly, help provide scholarships to students in need, or again, they have some funded programs, but most likely philanthropy. So, but identify an area, or if you want to work in youth issues, so there are NGOs there, you can look for them. Or if you want to work in democracy issues, or if you want to work in a think tank, it's better if you kind of know a little bit more about the mission and the goal of the organization, and then start working. There are really good active NGOs, mostly in major cities like Istanbul, Ankara, and even like in Eskişehir or other, but just try to look for the missions and goals of the organization. And then get some internship, like you still have time. And also think about the local governments too. They support NGO work as well. But doing internship helps you a lot to understand the organization better, and also then you can see, if you are interested in doing it, whether you like doing research or whether you like to be like on hand and do program activities. That may also help you. I know it's a very like general question, but yeah, try to understand the goal and the mission of the organization. I think that might be the first step. And doing internship, like you can learn a lot during the internships.
Thank you.
Are there any different questions? If it is not, I want to ask a question to Mr. Rasmussen. So as you know, COVID-19 has affected our lives too much, a lot. And I think Rebecca briefly mentioned how things affect ASMI before, but I also want to ask Mr. Rasmussen too, how were ICMA activities affected during the COVID-19 process and period? What are your impressions about your part?
When we look into society to see which part of society is hit the most in Denmark, definitely it is the elderly care homes, the old people, not because they are old. Even today in the newspaper, people are discussing how come, why is elderly home that much hit by COVID-19? 9 out of 10 who has died in Denmark are more than 70 years old. 9 out of 10. Most of the old people who die in the elderly homes are those with the illness that they cannot remember anything. In Danish, we call it dement. I don't know the English word for that, but those who cannot even remember their own name. This group is hit the most, and Danish scientists are discussing whether there is a connection between the construction of the genetics in the COVID-19 virus and the genetic for those who are in this category. Because this is strange. We have very good data. How come that they die the most, especially this group? So they are hit very much as a group, the elderly care, and therefore we have given vaccination to the people who live their life in elderly homes. And after that, to the people who are staff in the health sector. But we do not start with the staff, we start with the old people because they are hit the most. So we do vaccination of people who are 90 years old and maybe only have few years left, but those people, they have the first vaccine compared to Sweden and Norway, where the first vaccine are donated to the doctors and the health people, but we vaccinate the old people. The public sector is hit very much by this virus. Like in all other countries, we have to stay at home and work from home. We have to find out how to do this. Then we have some of our staff who they have to go to work, and it is those who work in the kindergartens, those who take care of the small kids. We have not yet closed down kindergartens. Why? Because if we close kindergarten, people cannot work in most of the sectors anymore. They need childcare. Pupils at school, they are at home and they are virtually educated. I have 2 daughters. They have been home since March. Examines, they try to do their examines. They try to give their education using Teams software. And then we have, of course, our shops and restaurants. They are closed now. Only shops who are selling food are allowed to have open hours. All other shops are closed. Public sector runs in a very difficult situation because the virus is spreading and it's accelerating at the moment. So we're very careful. Is this answer to your question?
Thank you so much. Is there any question?
Yes, I want to.
Yeah, I can.
Mrs. Rasman, do you think that the election age is 18 for Turkey? What do you recommend us regarding to this?
In Denmark, we have election age 18. We have had that for not very long, maybe only.
Okay, Mine, go on. Go on, please.
Okay, for 10 years. And they are discussing whether it should be changed to 17 at the moment.
Ridwan, can you hear us? I think you have a question.
Yes, I have a question also to Mr. Rebecca. Do you plan connection activities that our student chapter will meet with other student chapters around the world?
Yeah, actually, that's a really great question. Something that we actually started this year, and you'll all be invited to. Our first one will actually be coming up in a couple weeks in January. We started a leadership series, a series of webinars for student chapter members, specifically targeted at you all as leaders of student chapters. It is a series where we are covering different topics that are related not only to running a good chapter, but related to issues in local government that matter to students, and it is with other student chapters. So we did a sort of a pilot one. We did it in October, and it was a great discussion. We had student chapter members from a lot of different regions and different countries, and we had a great discussion. Our first discussion was on recruiting members, and our next one coming up is going to be on equity and inclusion in local government. That's going to be in the one in January, and it's really a chance for local government, for student chapter members to come together and chat with each other about the issue and learn from someone who's an expert in the area. So we actually have 3 more of those coming up. We'll have one in January, we'll have one in March, and then we'll have one in May. So those are 3 opportunities coming up immediately. That'll be a great opportunity for you to connect with other student chapter members in other countries and regions. As well as, of course, we will have the annual conference, another great opportunity where we do have a student chapter meeting at the annual conference for all student chapter members to come together and talk about being a student chapter member and different challenges and successes of working with chapters. So those are 2 big ones. The other one that I will say is that, like I said before, we do have the sister chapter program, which is a really great opportunity to connect chapters, to really work together one-on-one on planning joint events or having joint panels or meeting together. So definitely something to consider if you all are interested in that program. I would be very happy to set up your chapter to have a sister chapter, as well as all of the things that I just talked about. So definitely lots of opportunities coming up.
Thank you. And if there is no one to ask question, I have a question. One more to the Mr. Rasmussen. Sir, we as you know, we also have academicians and recent graduates as a listener and watchers. So how can they benefit from ICMA?
I did not hear the first of your question. Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes. As you know, we also have academicians and recent graduates as a listeners now. So how can they benefit from ISMA?
I see. I think if it's possible that they can take part in some of the virtual sessions that are published by the ICMA. I think this is one way to do it, to simply to agree with the ICMA to allow them to join such sessions, and then afterwards meet and discuss the contents and the what is for discussion on the sessions, so that it should not just end like streaming a session all on your own and that's it, but they should really organize, sit down and discuss the issues. This way they could benefit as well.
Thank you.
And just to add on that, we have many academic members, and Rebecca also knows at the annual conference we have a small, I guess, workshop which happens right before the conference, or maybe one day before. It's mostly for like academics to share their research with the other academics or interested members, and they kind of share again their papers, again results of their research there. They can get they can get connected with the other faculty members if for their research again. And then we have ICMA Connect. It's open to all ICMA members. It's more like a platform. You can say like LinkedIn maybe. Members can ask questions again, like to others. So you can post a question there and others members see and then they reply. So if they have a specific research question or any question that they're interested, they say like, hey, I have this research idea, or I'm looking for information on this. You can post it there as a member and then other members reply. Students can post there again, like the faculty, anyone can use that platform. So it's an easy way to access the members. And we have who's who on our website. You can just look at our members, like you can choose like profession, the location of the person, and you can say like, hey, like which members or like which people at ICMA network are there in city of Alexandria in Virginia. You can make searches like that through a filter. And so that may help them again if they're looking for a specific person or like have a specific question or look for the resources too.
I agree very much with Berna in her answer. And my experience is that it is essential that you study together with other students, not only on your own. So when you have discussions after one of these sessions or whatever, you should have discussion with your friends, students. Maybe just some very basic discussions among students. For example, find the answer to a question like, why do we need local government when we have very clever civil servants? Could they run the business? Why should we have elected persons? Why is it necessary? We are so well educated from university, we could run the business ourselves. We don't need elected persons. Such very basic discussions among students. My experience is it is very fruitful for them.
No questions?
And also, can I ask a question for the Rebecca again?
Yeah, I saw in chat box also, please.
If I didn't catch it, can you again answer? Will this year's annual conference be online? Because I remember we joined the Unite organization before, and this was online. What about the annual conference?
Yeah, so we're looking at what next year is going to look like. We don't necessarily know what the annual conference will look like this year, if it's going to be like Unite, or it'll be virtual, if it'll be in person. We're supposed to be in Portland, Oregon this year. But like I said, I think that, I speak for most of ICMA when we're thinking that even if we do have an in-person conference, there will be a heavy virtual component because we had so much success with the virtual component this year, especially for those who are not in the US, and especially for our student chapters as well. We had the most students ever participate in conference this year because it was virtual, and that allowed a lot more students to partake in the conference. So we're definitely looking at making sure that we still have those components that are virtual so that everyone can partake, whether it be students or those who don't live close to the area where the conference is. There will definitely be opportunities to participate going forward, and we'll definitely know more about that once we get more into 2021.
Thank you so much.
And just to add on that, until the annual conference, we will have regional conferences in spring, and we are going to have one international regional conference. We always have it again in an international location, but this year all the regional conferences will be virtual, so you can attend any of those. We didn't start promoting them, but they will be in spring. I think the latest it will end by end of April, so probably March to April. There will be multiple opportunities, so you may enjoy some of the sessions there.
Yes, if there is another question. Yes, I think the panel was very revealing, really revealing. So, and I would like to thank all of our speakers because we are already out of our time. You honored us by joining us today, and if there is anything you want to add.
I sent you an email saying when we get rid of this COVID-19, I will buy an air ticket myself and come down and see you.
I really hope. Thank you.
And I will give you a lecture. I'll really come physically and assist you. Look forward to.
Thank you so much for all participation. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. So
I also want to thank you all. This is great. Again, very exciting. I'm always here. I'm not officially part of the student chapter, but I am. I'm always here to support you all. You have my email. Feel free to share it with all student members. And I come to Turkey at least once every year. Mostly I visit like Istanbul, Antalya, where my parents are, and family. But again, we can get in touch any way possible. So I'm on LinkedIn again. Feel free to reach out and ask any questions. And I look forward to see more activities from all of you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome to the ICMA family as our newest chapter. We are so excited to support you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so I guess I'm closing the session. Thank you again, and see you, I hope.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you.
See you.